And we'll come bringing the feet hip distance apart. So once you really feel that you've spreaded your toes out as much as you can, then take a moment to just rock your weight forwards towards the front of your toes, and then backwards towards your heels. And again, bringing it forwards as far as you can, almost to the point where you would fall. Whoop-a. And then backwards. Same rules apply. How far back can you go? Trying to keep the whole sole of your foot on the ground. And then rock it backwards and forwards a little bit quicker, trying to find the point where your weight is center. You might notice this as you go around, but most people have a bias to either stand forwards or back. Next time you're in a queue for something, some people are forwarders, some people are backers. See if you can notice. So yeah, see if you can get yourself dead center for a moment. And then we're just going to lift the shoulders up on the inhalation and bring the shoulders down on the exhalation. We're going to do that 3 times in total, so take one more. And one more, final one. Beautiful, everybody. We're going to come to a few sun salutations, so we can bring our hands to our hearts. Closing our eyes for just a moment and see if there is an intention, a goal, if there's anything that you're working towards at the moment that you want to bring a bit of energy towards, then just bring that to mind right now. And then inhaling, we're going to bring our arms up over our heads, reaching up towards the sky, seeing if you can get your fingers as high as you can, and then draw your shoulder blades down, back into your body. Exhaling, we're going to dive forwards, coming into a forward fold. It's our first one of the day, so keeping our knees a little bit soft. No need to be too tight here. In fact, we can even sway a little bit from side to side. Again, noticing the weight shifting at your feet and then bringing it all back into the center. Amazing. So you can either here use your blocks, placing them either side of your feet. You was at the wrong end of your mat, sorry Colleen. Or if it's in your practice already and you're able to put your hands all the way down, you're welcome to do that too, but blocks can be a really great way to do this. Stepping up and back with your right foot and coming into a lunge, low lunge. So what we're looking for here is to keep our ankle directly underneath our knee. This is what protects it. And then you can either, if this is feeling challenging, walk your back foot in a little bit, or if it's feeling good and you want to go a little bit deeper, walk your back foot out a little bit further. So finding the place that feels good to you, and then from wherever you are, rolling your shoulders back, lifting your heart towards the front of the room. Notice what's happening at your neck and make any adjustment to create a little bit more length through your neck. Breathing in super deep here. You can either stay on your blocks for a slightly gentler variation or move them out the way to come down into plank pose. So here the aim is to have the body in one straight line, pressing back your heels, tucking your pelvis under, which is a weird one to do in this position, but you can do it. You can bend your knees if you need a gentler variation, otherwise stay up for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees, chest and chin come down to the mat. And then we can scoop ourselves up into cobra pose, ever so gently pressing down through the hands, lifting the shoulders back. Again, going gently, listening to your back, listening to your spine, taking in a deep breath. As we exhale, bowing back down to the mat, tucking the toes under and pressing ourselves up into downward facing dog. So we can walk the dog here, taking it 1 foot at a time. Really feeling the feet warming up even more. If you like, you can let it come to stillness for a little while. Reaching through the hands, pressing down through the heels. After one more inhalation, drawing the knee in towards your belly and then stepping that foot forwards. as much as you can, dropping the left knee down to the ground. So we're back in our lunge. You might want to use your blocks again here. Again, remembering to keep the knee on top of the ankle. And remembering you can always walk the back foot back if it feels too easy, or walk it forwards if it's feeling challenging. Remembering to draw the shoulders back and open the heart, the theme of today's session. Taking one more deep inhalation here. One more deep exhalation. Pressing down through the hands or the blocks, we walk back towards the front of the mat. We're back in our forward fold. So again, we can sway here, we can keep the knees a little bit soft. And then we can bend the knees, floating back up to standing, bringing the arms overhead, reaching the hands up, 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 rooting down through the shoulders, rooting down through the feet, tucking the pelvis under. We can bring the hands together down through the center line of the body. And we're back where we started. Taking one deep inhalation, exhalation, and we come straight back into the same on the other side, lifting the arms up as we inhale. If we want to take it a little bit deeper, we can come into a back bend, kind of pressing the hips forwards and arching the back as much as you feel comfortable with. Exhaling, we can dive forwards, coming into forward fold. This time I invite you to bend your knees generously, lengthen your spine as much as you can, so as if you're trying to bring the crown of your head as far away as possible from the base of your spine. And then from that place, then attempting to straighten your legs a little bit, but keeping the length in your spine. So this is not a pose to be competitive with. It doesn't matter if you can touch your toes or if you can't. Just look to see if you can create some extension through your spine and really feel your hamstrings stretching at the back of your legs. Beautiful, everybody. So either using the blocks or placing your hands either sides of your feet, this time stepping the left foot up and back, we come back into a lunge. We can either stay with the variation we did before with this beautiful low lunge, or we can lift our arms up, coming up to our hands at the heart center. Seeing if you can keep the weight out of your arms, pressing down through your toes of your back foot or the top of your back foot to keep the pressure out of your knee. And again, attempting to really roll the shoulders back even more. Gorgeous. Exhaling, we bring our hands down, we walk our right foot back to meet our left, and we're back in a plank pose. I find it's quite easy to kind of mistake this one for downward facing dog. So if everybody has a go at just bringing your hips up towards the ceiling a little bit, and then bringing them back down towards the ground. We can do this a couple of times as a kind of plank dog push up. If it feels okay, you can hold it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees, chest and chin come down to the ground. We're going to peel the upper body off the mat, and this time no pressure in the hands. You can float the hands by the sides of the body and come to a little baby cobra. See if your inhale can lift you up a little bit more. There we go. Exhaling, pressing down through the hands, tucking the toes under, downward facing dog. Again, you can walk the feet if you want to. You can stay in stillness if you want to. Just breathing into your dog for one more deep inhalation and exhalation if you can. And then as we transition back into our lunge, bringing the left knee as close in towards the belly as possible and bringing that leg forwards, bringing the back knee down. And then if you did the variation last time when you come up into prayer, you can do that again now. Rolling the shoulders back. Focusing on your breath if the pose feels a little bit challenging. Exhaling, we can bring our hands back down to frame our front foot, walking our back foot forwards, back in our fold. So again, look for that long spine, tucking the tailbone up towards the sky. Letting the head hang really loose, maybe even moving the head, giving it a gentle yes, gentle no, making sure there's no tension in the neck. And this time we can bend our knees and slowly roll up the spine. So first it's the hips and the lower back, then it's the mid-back, the shoulders and the head are the last things to come up. We can bring our hands back to our heart center and just take 3 breaths here to rest. We're going to do one more round of sun salutations, but this time trying to do 1 movement per breath. So inhaling, the arms come up. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, coming up halfway with a flat back. Exhaling, dropping even further forwards. Inhaling, framing the foot, right foot comes back, coming to a lunge. Exhaling, left foot comes back, plank pose. Taking an inhalation and an exhalation here. Squeezing in the core, tensing the pelvic floor muscles. And the next exhalation, knees, chest, chin, we come down. Inhaling, we make our way up to cobra pose. Arching the spine, shoulders drop down. Exhaling, bowing to earth, tucking toes under. And we're going to take 3 breaths in downward facing dog. After you've taken 3 breaths or so, walking your right foot forwards between your hand and the inhalation, coming back to lunge. Exhaling, the left foot comes forwards to meet the front foot, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway, flat back. Exhaling, folding all the way down. Inhaling, coming all the way up to standing, arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Taking 3 breaths here. Just noticing how your body feels after that round of sun salutations. Can you feel any heat or any energy moving around your body? And then settling ourselves, we can open our eyes and make our way down to the mat. We can bring our soles of our feet together in Baddha Konasana, allowing the knees to drop to the sides. Feel free to place blocks underneath the legs or the knees if you have any strain at the hips or at the knee joint. You can begin with a long spine, seeing if you can really, again, notice if you're leaning forwards or leaning back, and bring it into the middle if you can, whatever that means for you. And then as we exhale, we can really clasp over the feet with the hands and come into a fold. Keeping the spine curved here as a little bit of a counter pose for the back bends that we've done so far. And inhaling, allowing the spine to become long again. We can bring our legs out in front of us. Bringing our hands behind us and just coming into a little gentle back bend here. So it used to be the advice was to never bring your head all the way back because it has the potential to damage the top vertebrae of the spine. However, especially today, we spend so much time looking down at mobile phones that now they're saying it's good to do a little bit of backwards. So the key way to do this safely is to really make sure that you're engaging the muscles at the front of the neck, and basically that you always have control, that you're always able to easily lift it back up again. So you're dropping it back with control as far as feels comfortable for you, and really getting a good stretch through the neck, through the throat chakra. Inhaling, bringing it back up to center. We're going to come to a little flowing sequence. We can bring our hands to our hearts. Bringing our hands forwards, up to the sky. Bending the elbows and then looking up towards the ceiling, coming into a little back bend. Back up to the sky. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhale, coming back up to center. Again, bringing our hands behind us, coming into another supported back bend. Lifting the heart, lifting the center of the chest. And exhaling, making our way back to center. Bringing ourselves onto our hands and knees. You can come to a little bit of cat-cow. So as we inhale, bringing the head through, arching the back. And as we exhale, curving over, bringing the belly button towards the spine. Inhaling, arching the back. Exhaling, curving over. Do one more, but with arms. So inhaling, lifting right arm, left foot, arching the back. Exhaling, bringing the elbow in towards the body, the knee up to the chin. We do that one more time on this side, reaching away, right hand, left foot. Exhaling, bringing it all in. Bringing the right hand and left knee back down to the mat. We switch sides, reaching away, left hand, right foot. Bringing it all into center. Reaching away, deep inhalation. Bringing it all into center. Placing the hands down, the knees wide. We're going to make our way back into child's pose. So here you can rest your forehead lightly upon the ground. You can have your arms forwards, or you can wrap them around your legs in full balasana. We're going to stay here for about a minute, so give yourself a chance to let yourself unwind. Let yourself become heavy with your next exhalation. Taking one more deep breath here before making your way up to sit upon your heels. We are ideally going to stay here for a little while, so that if this isn't comfortable, either place a few blocks or a pillow so that you can sit up higher, or just come to a cross-legged seated position or another position. But stay here if you can. So you've all got straps, close to your mats, but you could also use a belt or something if you were doing this at home. And what I'm going to invite you to do is to pick the strap up and place it over your shoulder. If you don't have a strap, it's possible just to do this with your hands. If you hold onto the strap, if you have one, with your right hand and your left hand at the bottom of the strap behind your back. And then you're going to bring your elbow up towards the sky and then walk your hands together. So if I come to face. So you're coming into, again, another heart opener and a shoulder stretch. So the aim here is to really breathe that right elbow up to the sky as much as you can. And not to force it or overdo it, but this is another one that's particularly great if you spend a lot of time at the computer. This is one that really helps to rebalance things. We're going to slowly let go of the strap. Bringing our arms, just letting them relax. If you need to give them a shake, then do. And we can switch the strap onto the other shoulder. So this time the left hand is in front of the body, the right hand is behind the body, lifting the left elbow all the way up to the sky, and then walking the hands as close together as you can. If you're able to clasp fingers, great. If you don't have a strap, then you can just do this on your back and gradually work your way up. But it can help to have that little bit of leverage. Taking one more breath here. Before gradually letting go. Again, you can do a couple of shoulder rolls. Just letting everything settle. So this next one, I often see in kind of beginners yoga textbooks, but I actually think it's quite an advanced pose, so I'm going to offer a couple of variations. We're going to come up onto our knees. If anyone's knees are feeling a bit sore, you can either place a cushion under or even fold the mat over again so that you've got extra sponginess underneath you. So do that if you need to. So the first variation is simply to place the heels of your hands at the base of your spine, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest and coming into however much of a back bend you want to do. So we can all do this as a good warm-up. Just take 3 breaths here and make sure you're really breathing using the fullest capacity of your lungs. Keeping the breath deep, keeping the focus with your breath. And after your 3 breaths or so, coming back to the center. So you could either do the same one again, you could come down to child's pose if you wanted to rest, or if you feel like a bit more of a challenge, you can hold onto your heels coming into camel's pose. The caveat here is, in order to come out of this safely, you can kind of do a bit of a rotating movement. I don't know if you got that, but if you imagine shifting your hips to, say, the left, and then gradually curving them back down to the heels, and this can be a really nice way to come out of it. The key thing is to come out before you feel too tired, so don't wait until you feel desperate, but in the meantime, push your hips forwards, lift your heart up towards the ceiling, and if you feel comfortable to, then drop your head back. Same rules apply, really activating the muscles at the front of the throat, keeping it active. Camel's pose. The next inhalation, bringing your head up, bringing the hips round to the side and back down to the heels. We can all come down into child's pose again. Again, we're going to stay here for about a minute. So give yourself the time to really relax all the muscles in your body, especially those in your back. Again, encouraging a feeling of heaviness. As if you're a stone that was just dropped into the sea and was sinking all the way down. The next inhalation, bringing your hands forwards if they aren't already. Coming up through hands and knees. Back down to sitting. And then lying on your back. So before you get too comfortable here in this Shavasana, we can keep it a little bit more active just by walking the feet out towards the edges of the mat and dropping the knees together. And this is also a really nice variation because it really allows the lower back to come in contact with the floor and just to rebalance, especially after all the lovely back bends that we've been doing. Making sure that your breath is coming all the way into your belly. We can walk our feet together, keeping our knees bent, and pressing through our palms. With the next inhalation, we can lift our hips off the ground, starting with the very lowest vertebrae and the sacrum, peeling the back off the ground until our hips are lifted. Taking a deep breath, letting the belly fill up like a balloon. And then as you exhale, rolling all the way back down again, one vertebrae at a time. Now we can do that again, staying with the same variation if that felt good. Or if we want to take it to something a little bit more challenging, we can inhale, floating the hips back up just as we did before, aiming to keep our knees the same distance apart as our shoulders, our hips, by the way. There can be a tendency for them to splay out towards the sides, so really keeping the knees together. And then you can clasp your hands together if you want to come up and roll up even higher onto your shoulders. Giving yourself at least one more deep breath here. Before slowly unclasping the hands, rolling off the shoulders and coming down vertebrae by vertebrae. You can give it a moment just to rebalance with a neutral spine, and then when you're ready, you can draw your knees in towards your chest. Kicking the soles of the feet up to the ceiling, we can make our way to happy baby. So here you can hold on to the outer edges of the feet and gently draw the knees towards the armpits. You can also hold on to the ankles or the shins if that's more accessible for you. And you're welcome to rock this a little bit. And then we can bring it into a bit more of an exaggerated rock where you can rock all the way over and then stretch the top leg. So you can rock all the way over onto the right and then stretch the left leg across your body. There you go. If you kick your neighbour, you're probably doing the right thing. And then you can come back to the centre. And then you can rock onto the other side, doing the same thing. So crossing the leg across the body. Feeling that lovely stretch. And bringing it back into centre. You can roll over onto one side and gently make your way back into a sitting position. So we've done a lot of back bends in this session, so I want to start gently winding us down with a few forward bends to counterbalance. So we could begin by bringing the left foot in towards the top of the right leg. Let you put your jumper on. And we can inhale, the arms up, finding that extension, finding that reach. And then exhaling, folding forwards, keeping a long spine. So as if you were coming up and over, rather than just down. And the aim being that first you would lay your belly down on the tops of your legs, then your chest. The head would be the very last thing to come down. You're welcome to place a block underneath your knees, especially if you have hyperextended knees. So this is where the knee wants to actually go backwards a little bit. Just keeping a gentle bend. And you might find that as you inhale, you're able to extend your spine, lifting up a little bit more. And as you exhale, you're able to drop a little bit deeper into the fold. So keeping it moving. Allowing yourself to come however far down feels good for you. And letting go of any judgments. We can walk our hands gently back towards our body as we inhale to come out of the pose. Placing our hands under our knees and giving it a gentle bounce. Just waking it up again. Hello, knee. And then switching sides. Again, starting with that reach. A kind of cat reach. I don't know if you've noticed, but cats, they'll reach and then they'll like reach a little bit more. They're never quite done. And then from there we can exhale, coming back over. Notice if it feels different from one side to the other. It's very normal for one side to be quite a lot more flexible than the other side. And again, flowing with this, inhaling and lengthening the spine. And exhaling and folding over, keeping the focus on letting the spine be long. And letting the pose stay in motion. So stretching the hamstrings like this is the quickest way to really relax the body. The forward folds like this are the most relaxing poses we can do. They don't always feel like it at the time. In fact, they can be very challenging for some people, but they're good for us. Walking the hands back towards the body as we inhale. We can bring the right foot forwards. And we can end with one more forward fold, only this time you're welcome to use your strap. If you have one. If not, then just placing your hands on your feet, your shins, your thighs, wherever feels good for you. But if you have the strap, placing it around the balls of your feet. And then gradually walking the hands forwards. Seeing if you can use the strap in a way that lets your arms be long. So rather than your elbows being bent, getting the full extension out of your arms as you come forwards. If you're very flexible, maybe it's easier for you to just hold onto your toes. But if you need a bit more warming up, then use the strap. Again, every inhalation is an opportunity to find even more length, especially through your spine. And every exhalation an opportunity to fold deeper, to let go a little bit more, to release yourself to gravity. Giving yourself one more breath here to complete your relaxation in this pose. And with your next inhalation, gently walking your hands back up the strap, back up to center. We can take the strap off the feet, putting it to the side. So we can end with a simple twist. We can do a lying twist. We can lie down on our backs, knees bent. We can bring our arms out towards the sides, or we can do cactus arms where the elbows are bent. And then here, bringing the heels as close towards the body as you can, dropping your knees to the right and your head to the left. Aiming to keep both shoulder blades upon the ground here. Taking 3 more breaths here and really letting your legs relax more and more with every cycle of breath. When you're ready to come out of it, bringing your head back to center and then pressing through your arms to help lift your legs. We take a moment in the middle, just allowing our spines to rebalance, keeping our arms where they are. And then we can come the opposite way, so dropping your legs to the left and your head to the right. Taking one more breath to complete your relaxation here. And then bringing your head back to center, pressing through your arms to lift your legs. Taking a moment to bring the feet wide, dropping the knees together, just supporting your lower back. One more time in this session. I'm going to turn off a few of the lights. So coming into Shavasana, you can either stay in this variation with your knees bent, or you can come to lying down with the feet down on the mat. The knees bent variation is kinder on the lower back, so it's entirely up to you. Taking a moment to close your eyes. And just follow your breath. You don't have to control it or do anything to it. Just take a moment to clear your mind of any thoughts by completely absorbing your attention on your breathing. If you hear any noises or anything remotely distracting, just use it as another excuse to come back to your breath. And with every exhalation, just allowing all of your muscles to relax a little bit more. if you want to add a little visualization in the last few minutes, you can visualize that as you inhale, you're breathing in a green light to the center of your heart, and it's bringing you nourishment and well-being, and a kind, loving, warm energy. And this is filling up your body with every inhalation, starting with your heart. And as you exhale, you can breathe it out into the world around you. So giving yourself 3 more breaths here in this practice of following your breath with or without the visualization. And then when you're ready, gently beginning to wake yourself back up again, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Gently bringing your awareness back to your whole body and the space that you're in. And gently increasing these movements until you can come to stretch in any way that feels good for you. Once you're finished stretching, then gradually making your way over onto your right side. Giving yourself a little hug, thanking yourself for showing up today and giving yourself this time. It's so easy to distract oneself and to do other things. And because today's has all been about heart openers and back bends, I invite you to think about 3 things that you love in your life right now, big or small. Things or people or places or moments. And with this love in your heart, gently making your way up to sitting. Wishing you all a beautiful rest of your evening and day tomorrow. Namaste.